Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is the last one in James Gunn's trilogy. So, yeah, we definitely finna talk about it. This movie started off with a bang. While I'm not going to get into everything, you got to understand there are certain parts of the movie that really, really just spoke to the gravity of the situation that the Guardians were dealing with. All the Guardians got their own personal problems they're dealing with. Everything from Starlord being drunk and still, dealing with Gamora, the Nebula trying to get everything together for nowhere because you got to remember she was with Thanos for so long, so now she actually has somewhere she can call home that she's trying to make sure is built and set up. Rocket's got stuff on his mind that he's still thinking about that he's got to deal with, and you got to remember that he is the protagonist of this movie. Like, this movie is focused on Rocket's backstory.
He didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they are.
So even with all the other characters getting their shine and being able to kind of finish up their backstories, their problems, we kind of get some more of the diving into what makes them tick and how things are supposed to go for them. Rocket is still the focus, and he's been the focus more and more as you go back and look at the other Guardians movies. He's been the focus the entire time.
He left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
Now, the highevolutionary is a big part of Rocket's backstory.
My sacred mission is to create the perfect society.
That's the one who created him, and everything that went into it, everything that went into the character was absolutely fantastic. They took a lot of references from the comic books. They definitely set him up to really be that sadistic, bio engineer. Like, he just does stuff that is just absolutely horrible, and it seems like no one cares, or because everyone else is benefiting off it some other type of way, people look the other way. He can create a whole corporation that can fund all his nasty experiments, but nobody's going to stop him. Nobody's going to go up against him, like, until the Guardians have to deal with him. So it's really interesting to see the dynamic of having intergalactic law, because there are different laws throughout the universe. You've got, forces like the Nova Corps and stuff who enforce certain things, but there's other parts of the galaxy where, you gotta remember, the galaxy is a big place. They can get away with anything. And this is kind of what it comes down to for Rocket, is really being a guardian of the galaxy and fixing some of the injustices that are going on within the world. And as we go through the entire movie, we got all these cool fight scenes, cool characters that are showing up, all these different cybernetic enhancements. We get to see a lot of characters from the comics kind of pop up, albeit for a short moment, but the character development has been absolutely outstanding throughout the entire series. So I'm really excited when they brought in Adamwarlock and some of the stuff that he was doing, because Adamwarlock, albeit he's a very big character in the Marvel Universe, they kind of brought him in an infantile state, so to speak, and they really get to build him up in whatever image they want to build him in. He gets a lot more character growth. He gets a lot more exposition probably going forward from this point on to really set up how they want Adamwarlock to be in relation to the Guardians. All of this was really good for the MCU as a whole, because, again, Phase 5 has finally delivered something that really makes a lot of sense and sets up for more cosmic action across the universe. I'm really excited to see what else they're going to do with the Guardians themselves, because even after everything goes down, Rocket gets his more or less closure. I won't say revenge. He gets his closure on the situation. A lot of the other characters also get their closure with their different little personal problems that they've been dealing with. I don't mean to call them little, but like, they've been dealing with different things, but in the gravity of what Rocket was dealing with, that was our focus. So Starlord and Gamora have some understanding between each other. It looks like Starlord and Nebula have a bit more understanding. Same thing kind of goes with Drax and Mantis. There's a little love blossoming there, but Mantis has got to go off on her own and kind of do her own thing. Nebula's kind of rebuild nowhere to make sure it's good for everybody that they rescue. Drax is really get a chance to be a father and actually help Nebula kind of set up that society. Groot is been there and just he evolves and gets bigger and better as time goes on. Kraglin gets to understand how to use the Yaka arrow. Cosmo is no longer relegated to a background cameo. Starlord has to go find his family and really kind of explore that world. And Rocket, full circle, becomes captain of the Guardians and really sets the stage for the Guardians going forward. Like, if we don't get a Guardians 4, I'm going to be highly upset because this franchise has been one of my favorites throughout the MCU. All this sets up with new Guardian members with Adamwarlock, and Phi Lavelle is making an appearance because that's a relation to Moondragon, which comes back to Drax at some point in time. So that's something we got to look forward to. Starlord is on Earth, and we're going to see what he's going to get into because he can be utilized anywhere. Gamora is with the Ravagers, and she's a full-fledged Ravager now. Zoesaldana said she's done playing Gamora, but again, money talks. We don't know. She could come back at some point in time. But
oh, please.
We got a new lineup of Guardians. Stuff is about to go down. Like, they're really setting up the MCU to really take off in the cosmic direction. And with the Marvels coming out later this year, like, the entire galaxy, you know, the whole galactic threat angle is going to get more and more massive as we go on, because we really get to not just focus on Earth, but we get to expand to several different planets, other galaxies, alternate timelines. We've already dived into all of that. Like, there is so much stuff that can happen, and I'm really hyped to see it. So I want to know what y'all think. What do you think is going to happen from this point going forward? What do you think is going to be the focus of the Guardians? What do you think Starlord is going to figure out with his family? Where's Mantis off to? What's going to happen? Are we going to see Moondragon show up in the MCU at any point in time? Because, you know, she could still be out there. Is Starlord and Nebula going to have a love interest kind of thing at some point, or is that just kind of like a hint of things to come? Will we see Gamora again? There's so many questions left to be answered, but they're left in a good way that you just kind of want to know, but you still want to sit back and just kind of see what they have in store. And I think James Gunn did a fantastic job in just closing out his trilogy and then setting it open for the MCU to do whatever they want with it.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
By all means, go down in the comments. Tell me about what you want to talk about, what you want to see, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Later.